say, hello, Stingrays.
Hello, Stingrays.
Today we're going to learn about integers.
Integers.
Yes, tell them that integers are positive and negative numbers.
Positive numbers.
Yes, and they're really easy. We use them all the time.
And I use them all the time.
Very good. Say bye, Stingrays.
Bye, Stingrays.
Hello, Stingray boys and girls. Let's take a look at integers. Okay, when we deal with integers, we're talking basically about life's positive, okay, and negative numbers. Okay, now often when we think about integers, especially negative numbers, we kind of lock up, we get all scared. But the truth be told, we actually deal with negative numbers all the time in real life, and we don't even think about it. We don't get nervous at all or lock up at all. But when we walk into the math classroom, that's when we get all weirded out by it. But let's take a look at just some everyday examples. I mean, I'm sure we've all been to the beach. Hopefully most of us have been to the beach. Okay, familiar with the beach here. Okay, I might say that doesn't look like the beach. Give me a little time. Give me a little time. Over here we've got the water. Okay, there's the ocean. Okay, and here's our beach right here. And while we're at the beach, we all like to play in the beach, and we play in the sand more specifically. And we take our hand and we'll dig into the sand. Okay. And when we dig into the sand, what do we make? We make, of course, a hole, right? Okay, we dig into the beach, into the sand, and we make a hole. Okay? So right here is a hole. And in our hand we have all the sand that we dug out from the beach. Okay, now the sand in our hand is something that we actually have. Okay, it's something that we have. It's actually more than what we had before, but the sand in our hand would represent positive numbers. Okay, a positive number is something that we actually have. It's something that you can measure. But the flip side of that is the hole that we made, the hole that we dug. Okay, this would represent, okay, something that is a negative number. Okay, it's something that's missing. It's something that's gone. It was there at one time, okay, but it's been taken away. Okay, a negative, okay, is something that has been taken away. It's not just nothing. Okay, a nothing would be zero. Zero represents kind of where the beach originally was, that flat surface. Even we refer to sea level as kind of being a zero. Okay, a zero is nothing. It's not high, it's not low, it's just flat. Okay, but when we dig a hole, okay, this hole, this vacuum, this missing space, this negative space, okay, that's negative. Okay, there was something here, but it's been taken away. The sand in our hand, though, represents something that we have. It's positive. Let's take a look at another example from everyday life. Okay, let's move on to, where should we start? How about altitude? Okay, we're still kind of going off of the whole, working with sea level here a little bit. Okay, and let's fill in some water here to help us better understand. Okay, over here we have the ocean. Maybe here, oh, that's a little high. And then here we have maybe a lake that's inland, and here we just have some rather flat land. Okay, let's take a look here at, and by the way, this is, we'll call this altitude. I think that's spelled correctly. Altitude deals with being above or below sea level. Okay, we'll say sea level is kind of right here. It's in line with where the sea is. Okay, so that's sea level, and that would usually be represented once again kind of as a 0. It's not high or low, it's kind of the standard, it's our reference point. Down here we've got Fred the fish. Okay, he's swimming around as happy as can be, and Fred the fish, he's below sea level. In fact, we're going to say he's approximately 20 feet below sea level. Okay, and guess what Fred the fish is going to represent? That's, you guessed it, that's a negative number. Just going to abbreviate. But over here we have Harry the mountain hiker. There's Harry. He's up there pretty good. He's up on top of a mountain, and he's at about, oh, I'll say he's about at 120. It's not too tall of a mountain, but he's 120 feet above sea level. And you guessed it, that's going to represent a positive number. See, he's above sea level. Fred the fish, he's below, he's under it, okay? He's less than 0. He's below sea level. He's 20 feet under. In fact, he'd have to come 20 feet up just to be at the surface of the sea. While Harry over here, he's 120 feet above sea level. He'd have to go down 120 feet just to get to the ocean, or at least the height where the ocean is. Let's take a look at another example from everyday life. We'll keep some. Okay, let's take a look at temperature. Okay, at the temperature. Here we have, I know that's a crazy looking thermometer. It's not too pretty. Over here's a equally ugly thermometer. Okay, sorry science teachers, please don't pick on me too much. And art teachers definitely don't pick on me. You know how hard it is drawing on this tablet? Okay, anyway. Temperature. A good reference point for temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. We're going to stick with Celsius. It's just easier. Okay. It's more math and science friendly. And we're going to take two different temperatures here. Okay. This first temperature here is going to represent Alaska. In Alaska today, it looks like it is about negative 10 degrees Celsius. Guess what that means? It means it's 10 degrees below 0. Okay? It's not even freezing. It's colder than freezing. Okay? So it is colder, okay, than freezing. Because 0 degrees Celsius represents freezing. So it is colder than freezing. It's 10 degrees colder than freezing. Our other thermometer, though, is in Florida. Okay, good old Florida. And it is about, 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, what does that mean? That means it is warmer. Okay, than freezing, which is 0 degrees. Whoops, freezing. Did I put freezer over there? I'm sorry. I meant to put freezing. Okay, so Florida is 25 degrees warmer than freezing. Okay, that's where we use temperature, 25 degrees above or warmer than freezing. Over in Alaska, it's 10 degrees colder or below freezing. Okay. We use that all the time. None of us get too freaked out. And here's probably the most common usage, at least in America, unfortunately. And it deals with money. Okay, when we're talking about money, we use positive and negatives all the time. Let's say you go to the Gap, if you go to the Gap, and there's a real cool pair of jeans, and you've got to have them. And they also happen to be on sale. There's your jeans, okay? And they're on sale for $20. Okay, that seems like a deal. Okay, and let's say all you and your friends, you all want to get a pair, okay? And your friend Jen, she exactly has $20, And we're not going to, there's no tax. It's no tax Tuesday or something like that, okay? So Jen has $20, okay? And you know that if you're going to spend something, you got to take it away. So the cost of the jeans, we already said, is $20, okay? And how much money is Jen going to have left? Well, she's going to have zero. She's going to have zero left, but at least she has her jeans, right? Now, Bill, on the other hand, okay, he came to the mall with a little bit more money, and he actually had $35. Okay, and once again, the cost of the jeans, we got to take it away. In a sense, it's a negative. Anytime you spend money or anytime you do subtraction, it's really a negative number. In fact, that might be getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but every subtraction problem is really just a negative number, and every negative number is really a subtraction problem. But we'll deal with that later. Okay, but the jeans cost $20. How much money is Bill going to have left over? Come on, you mathematicians out there. $15. Okay, I know what you guys are all saying. Mr. Urich, this is easy. We've been doing this ever since elementary school. But then, good old Fred, he's not prepared. He comes to the mall with $15. And he really wants to buy those jeans, but they cost $20. Okay, and he buys the jeans. And he pulls out one of those magic little plastic cards called credit cards. They shouldn't be called credit cards. They should actually be called debt cards. We'll talk about that in a moment. But if Fred has $15 and he buys the jeans that cost $20, how much money is he going to be left with? Well, some of you say, well, he can't buy it. And mathematically, that's true. He really can't buy it. Or I should say, economically, he can't buy it. But you know what? Does that stop Americans from buying stuff? No. They do it anyway. Okay? So Fred goes ahead and he buys it. So how much money is he left with? You know how much money he's left with? He's left with negative $5. I want you to see this. Negative $5. What does this mean? Okay? This means he owes. Okay, he owes $5, or he has $5 of debt. Okay, debt is bad. That means he owes $5. He's going to have to come up with $5 and pay the store just to have $0, what Jen has. Okay, Bill was prepared. He had $15 more than what he needed. Okay, and when he purchased the $20 pair of jeans, he still had $15 left over. Okay, and if you have money left over, that's actually called credit, okay? And see, that's why credit cards, that's not an accurate term. See, every time you use your credit card, you're borrowing from the bank, and you owe the bank money. You got to pay it back. Okay, what you're doing, when you use a credit card, you're borrowing money from a bank to pay the store. The store takes that money, and the store is happy. But now the bank is saying, hey, you owe me that money that you took, okay, that you borrowed from me. You got to pay it back. You have debt. Okay, debt is negative dollars. It's negative dollars. It's money that you owe. Okay, so there's a negative number. Debt, money that we owe. We Americans, unfortunately, are way too familiar with that. But there's a basic intro to life's positive and negative numbers, integers. We're at the beach. We're digging the sand, okay? The hole is a negative. The sand in the hand is a positive. We're climbing a mountain or swimming in the sea when we're above sea level. Okay, that would be a good representation of a positive number. When we dive below sea, that's a negative number. Temperatures. We deal with temperatures all the time. When we have and especially Celsius, Fahrenheit's a little more complicated. Celsius is real nice for math and science. But when we're at freezing, when freezing is 0 degrees freezing, that's the temperature at which water becomes a solid, okay? That's 0 degrees. If we go below freezing, which doesn't happen too often in North Carolina, those are negative numbers, okay? What North Carolina is real familiar with is we're familiar with positive Celsius temperatures, okay? When the temperature is above 0 or a positive number, that means it's warmer than freezing. 25 degrees Celsius means it's 25 degrees Celsius warmer than freezing. And what Americans are way too familiar with is money issues with positive and negative, okay? When you have money in the bank, actually have money, don't confuse that with a credit card, okay? That's positive, that's having credit. Credit is good. Having money on hand, money saved, that's positive, that's credit. But when you owe money, okay, that's a negative, okay? That's called debt. That's bad. You don't want to stay there too long, because think about it. When you owe money, you've got to work just to earn money so that you can have no money. That sounds depressing, doesn't it? But anyway, negatives is debt, positive is credit. So, there you have it. That's a nice introduction to integers, positive and negative numbers that we deal with all the time. You have a great day. Bye-bye.